All right, good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock or just after, and we're going to go ahead and get starting this morning. Thanks so much for being here, both in person and online. We have a nice group in both settings. This session is an opportunity to share information about EKU dual credit and also to gather input and ideas. I think I know all of you, but my name is Rusty Carpenter, and I'm also serving as the Academic Affairs Dual Credit Liaison. And our goal for this session is to increase collaboration and coordination between dual credit and also academic affairs. To that end, the session is designed as both informational and also interactive. There's a lot of information that Aaron, our presenter, will share with you, but it is also designed as a way to ask questions, share ideas, express concerns if you have them, but also to make sure that we are building a strong culture of collaboration between academic affairs and dual credit. So please feel free to ask questions and share ideas. There will also be a QR code at the end with a brief survey where you will be able to provide input at that point, share ideas, and Aaron and I will review that over the course of the next few weeks and follow up as well. So with that, I'd like to introduce Aaron Baker, who's the program manager for EKU Dual Credit, who'll be facilitating the session this morning. And I can say that over the past few months, Aaron has been great to work with as we've really looked into dual credit, what we can do, and thinking about the possibilities. So with that, Aaron, it's all yours.
Thank you, Rusty.
Sure.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. And those of you who are on Zoom, thank you for joining us on Zoom. Again, I'm Aaron Baker. I'm the program manager for EKU Dual Credit. Before we kind of just go forward here, I do want to say a really huge thanks and show appreciation for Rusty and Chris. Both of them were really encouraging and helped me out with designing of the TLI session here. Both have been with me the last several months. Chris, a lot longer. We used to work together in open enrollment management, but I couldn't have done any of this without them. And so thank you to them. So today's session, our TLI session here is about EKU dual credit. It's past progress, present impact, and future potential. So we're really going to be talking about where we came from, where we're at right now, and where we're looking to move forward towards. And as Rusty said, this is a collaborative session. Of course, I have some things that I'd like to talk about, and towards the very end of our session, we'll have a moment to talk together, to discuss, collaborate. But during the presentation, please feel free to raise your hands, classroom style, ask any questions that you have. Even feel free to shout out whatever works. That is good with me too. So we'll just jump right into it. We tested this before we started, I promise. Okay, so our agenda today is really about, of course, talking about dual credit, but we're going to take a moment and expand our scope and talk more about the dual credit landscape in the state of Kentucky. It is a hot topic issue. It's in the state legislature this session. It has been for the last several sessions. It's a big thing with CPE right now, and it's a big topic across not just Kentucky, but the United States. Then we'll focus back into EKU dual credit, what dual credit is at Eastern Kentucky University, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the growth that we've seen as a program. Again, where we've come from, where we're at now, and what we're looking into doing. We'll talk a little bit more about dual credit's institutional value, and then we'll use a moment to talk more about how we can together use dual credit as a recruitment tool. And then at the very end of the session, we'll have some time for discussion and collaboration. I have some posed discussion questions, but we can really take the conversation wherever we need it to go. And then, of course, the session outcomes. They're really for all of our faculty in the room because I know y'all live and breathe student learning outcomes. And so I really enjoy having all of that in our session here. So dual credit in Kentucky, again, like I was saying, we're going to take a larger look at what dual credit is. Dual credit, like I was saying before, is a hot topic in secondary and post-secondary education across the state right now. That focus has really come from the state level itself, from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The Commonwealth is investing a lot, time, energy, and resources and money into dual credit as a strategy to meet workforce needs and expand educational opportunities for our students. So our beloved CPE has been named as the state authority for dual credit. That came from our most recent legislative session. And that's really rightfully so, in my opinion. They're deeply informed and connected with the work. Rodney and I do a lot of sessions with the CPE on dual credit. We work with a lot with our counterparts at the other 4 years. And Dr. Aaron Thompson is really connected and a huge advocate for dual credit himself. And what I thought was really cool was the highlight of EKU's dual credit program at our most recent convocation. And I think that was just a really great moment for all of us as a campus. So participation statewide has grown by about 75% since 2014. And CPE data shows that dual credit students are more likely to enroll in college, persist to their second year, and earn a first-year GPA of a 3.0 or higher than their counterparts who do not participate in dual credit. That growth is sustained by the state's commitment to affordability. So KIA, the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, funds the dual credit scholarship and the Work Ready dual credit scholarship. The dual credit scholarship pays for a student's participation in general education courses, and the Work Ready dual credit scholarship funds the student's participation in courses that are identified as career and technical education. We'll talk a little bit more about our pathways later on, but our pathways are primarily where those career and technical education aligned courses exist. And then the state also caps our dual credit tuition rate. So all of the four-year public institutions has a maximum fee that we're allowed to charge dual credit students per academic year for tuition per credit hour. And most of the publics are going to be right at that maximum. We're all within $1 or $2 of each other. Right now it's $97 per credit hour, comes out to just under $300 for a 3 credit hour class. So it is a pretty significant savings for our students. So really the big takeaway of this slide is that Kentucky is intentional about growing dual credit. With the CPE's attainment goal, their attainment goal is 50% of Kentucky high school graduates will earn college credit through dual credit by 2030 by graduation. The space of dual credit will only continue to grow. As an institution, we have to stay aware, competitive, and strategic in how we engage and recruit dual credit students. So I'll zoom back out and talk a little bit more about dual credit at EKU specifically. If you're in this room right now, you're at least aware that we have a dual credit program, but many of the faces that I see here, many of the faces that I know are attending here virtually, we work together on a regular basis. You teach our classes, you help us facilitate getting them set up. You're right there with us in the dual credit program. And that affirms to me that dual credit really is a university program. And that's a really rewarding thing. So our program has grown into one of the most comprehensive in the state of Kentucky. We currently partner with more than 50 high schools across the state, from northern Kentucky to very eastern Kentucky, all the way over to the most western points and almost touching Tennessee. We serve roughly 1,400 students each semester, and that number continues to rise. Students can take courses across all 5 of our EKU colleges, and we offer a range of formats, including courses hosted on-site at the student's high school, courses online, and courses here on our campus. And we have some students attending our Manchester and Corbin campuses as well. Academically, our offerings are broad, but they're very intentional. We offer many general education enrollment opportunities. In fact, that's where majority of our dual credit students are enrolling through. But we're, as a program, shifting our focus to pathways that connect students to coursework and select EKU degree programs. such as business, engineering, health, justice studies, teacher education, aviation, and more. On the right side of the screen, you'll see our dual credit pathways. Those are sequences of courses that are designed to lead a dual credit student into corresponding academic programs here at EKU. And so during the student's junior and senior years, they can enroll into 4 courses, sometimes 5 or more, in those dual credit pathways. And typically they are major required courses, 100 and 200 level courses, the introduction courses, and students are taking general education at about the same time. But it's really designed for the students who already know what they want to do and get them that head start and expose them to the EKU program. So what makes EKU's program unique isn't our scale. It's how we manage the entire student experience. If you look at the CPE's data, we're definitely not the largest institution offering dual credit as far as dual credit numbers. KCTCS has us beat by, I don't know, 15,000 students or something. But if you ask any one of our dual credit partners, it's how we actually run the program and how we support our students and our partners. The dual credit office, in partnership with academic affairs and other departments across campus, we oversee our students through their entire dual credit experience, from admissions to advising to enrollment and to intervention. That intentional involvement is what keeps our program efficient, our students at the center of our focus, and it's what keeps our program sustainable. And that intentionality shows in our outcomes. Our dual credit students have consistently strong academic performance, lower DFW rates on average across all of our modalities offered. In fact, for the many semesters, we've had those DFW rates in the single percentage point. And then we have even more students matriculating to EKU as first-time freshmen than ever before. For the 23-24 academic year, we had 36% of our dual credit population matriculate to EKU as a first-time freshman student. And I'm really proud to say that that is the highest statistic across the other 4-year publics in the state of Kentucky. All right. Here's a closer look at some of the growth that we've had in dual credit, both enrollment growth by academic year and revenue growth by academic year. The data points are, again, per academic year, and so they're not cumulative metrics. The most notable takeaways from our graphs here on the screen are a 58% increase in total students since the 2021 to 2022 academic year. And that's 2021, 2022 to 2024 to 2025. This fall semester, we have our highest enrolled population of students at about 1,450 students. And so the numbers will be even higher next year when we do something like this. It also shows 127% increase in unique course registrations. So that's the number of courses that our students are taking. And so what this is telling us is that not only are we growing in the number of students that we have in our program, but we are also growing in the number of courses that our students are taking. Okay? And in 115% increase in billable hours since 2021 to 2022 academic year. Translating those billable hours into tuition dollars charged for each of the corresponding academic year. Again, the state sets our tuition rates per academic year. This shows an increase in potential gross revenue by 184%. This is potential revenue. We do, Rusty and some of our other academic affairs leaders, the chief enrollment officer here at EKU and my team are taking a closer look at some of our enrollment trends, taking a look at not just potential revenue, but what are we actually getting out of the program? We are a net positive dual credit program, but there are a lot of factors that actually that determine how much of a margin we have on the net positive, but it is pretty significant even without having the full picture right now. Okay. So I'll talk a little bit more about where we've come from or where we've come as a dual credit program. Since my team has assumed responsibility for the program, we've focused on establishing strong statewide partnerships and influence across the whole Commonwealth in the dual credit space and broadly as leaders in education. We focused on standardized and streamlined opportunities for efficiency and consistency, and we've strengthened student advising, intervention, communication with our students and our partners, and having a higher quality collaboration with our partners here at EKU, but also our high school partners who our students are coming from. Looking ahead, we are centering our strategies around sustainability. Specifically, we're looking to build intentional pathways that support students' meaningful enrollment. Going back to those dual credit pathways, we're really trying to focus on making sure that we have really great dual credit enrollment pathways that translate to meaningful enrollment, meaningful credit earning for our dual credit students, and getting them more likely to come to EKU and have credits that actually work for them. We're advancing a formal matriculation strategy to guide our students from dual credit into first-time freshman status. That 36%, I'm not going to say it's happened by happening, but it kind of has. We haven't had a formal strategy for recruiting our dual credit students, but that is something that we're taking a really close look at and integrating with our Office of Admissions and our marketing teams, and of course, our college enrollment counselors and those of us who work with prospective students on a really regular basis. We're focusing on deepening our partnerships with academic affairs, especially to align instruction and access. Rusty and I have a pretty frequent one-on-one where we work together on projects that will help us collaborate together. And then we're enhancing transparency through data analysis and reporting for our department partners and EKU leadership. We know that that information is necessary to make the decisions for investments that we're asking for, both monetary, but also resources, your people, your time, and we want to be able to back up what we're asking. All this work, the structure, the strategy, and the partnerships, they bring us together, or they bring us to a bigger question. Why does dual credit matter for EKU as an institution?
Hey, Aaron, we have a question in the Zoom chat.
Yeah, of course.
Robin has asked, they don't see the engineering pathway on the dual credit website. Is that an active pathway?
It is. I have a very large ticket with the website team right now to revamp my website. They're pretty upset with me, but it is going up. I promise you. We're moving faster than what our marketing team can keep up with. And so, yes, it is an active pathway. Everything on my slides are active. I'll be happy to share some materials that cover our pathways a little bit deeper. But yeah, we actually have 2 schools participating in engineering this semester. And so it's really cool. Big thanks to Nilesh and the engineering crew for their help with that. Okay, so why does dual credit matter? I get asked that question a lot, actually. What does dual credit do for EKU? And it's kind of a complicated question with a complicated answer. Sometimes I really just want to reply with, well, I get paid by EKU to do this work, so it's obviously important to somebody. But I know that doesn't really tell us anything other than I'm collecting a modest paycheck. So why does it actually matter? Well, we're a net positive revenue generating institutional program. So that's a big thing, especially since we're in a funding climate where every dollar matters. Well, when we look past dollars and cents, we can see the opportunity that dual credit represents. It's an opportunity to connect directly with a population of college-bound students who are highly motivated, academically capable, and are actively exploring their next steps. It's also about brand image and visibility. Dual credit expands EKU's presence in communities across the Commonwealth, and it strengthens our partnerships with districts and high schools who we actively recruit first-time freshmen from. Every new relationship we form in dual credit helps reinforce EKU's identity as the Kentucky School of Opportunity and advertises what we have to offer to all students at partner schools, regardless of their participation in our program. Academically, dual credit gives students a real preview of what college is like, that whole college experience. They're building confidence, readiness in a monitored, supportive environment and learning our systems, engaging with our faculty, and connecting to their classroom experience in dual credit to EKU programs and degrees in real time while earning EKU credits. So it's a bridge that connects an early learning experience to our institution. The stronger that we can make that bridge, the stronger our opportunity becomes to capitalize on it. The real value proposition of dual credit is as a recruitment tool. Every semester, thousands of dual credit students are logging into our systems, hundreds really, whatever, thousands each academic year, are logging into our systems. These students exist in Banner, they exist in Slate, and they're already enrolled in our courses that align to specific EKU majors and programs. Can anyone tell me the two most important questions in the freshman college search process? How much will it cost? Okay, what were other? Well, where are you going to college? And what do you want to study in college? Those are the two most important questions. Yeah. To a student, it's where you're going and where you're going to study. Yeah. So oh yes. What's unique about dual credit is that our students have already told us these things. They've already told us that they are going to go to college, and they've already told us based off of their enrollment their enrollment, what they're interested in studying. A student who engages with our business pathway, they're definitely interested in an EKU program in the College of Business. A student enrolled in our teacher education pathways, they're definitely interested in our teacher education programs, secondary, middle, early childhood education. They're all interested in those programs that we have to offer here. So our job from there is to connect the dots and help our dual credit students see EKU as the natural next step for them after dual credit enrollment. Strengthening that connection takes our collaboration as a campus. Admissions and SSEO, we're the managers of the enrollment process. We help students through admissions, through first enrollment, through all those different processes. Of course, dual credit handles a little bit more of that process, and we are also actively recruiting our dual credit students. But we know as a program and as a university that for dual credit, much of the real impact as far as where a student goes after high school graduation and participating in dual credit is the impact through their learning in the classroom, through our faculty, and in the experiences our academic areas create for them. By coordinating our efforts and aligning our messaging, we can showcase EKU strengths, our academic strengths, highlight our faculty and programs, and help these students see themselves as future colonels. A student who has a positive experience in dual credit, we offer the program that they desire. They're going to be more likely to enroll with us than a student who does not have that positive experience with us. And when we do that, dual credit becomes more than just an early college program. It becomes an enrollment pipeline that begins in the high school classroom and carries students through an EKU degree. So this is our last slide here. We've covered the past what dual credit was at EKU, what it has become, and what it's going to, or what we envision out of our program. But I also want to make sure that we have some time to discuss a little bit more about dual credit. I want to hear from my partners, from you all. And so I'll turn the conversation over to you. We'll use the rest of our time for questions and answers, for open discussion. And so as you think about what we've talked about today, I want you to consider a few questions. What opportunities do you see to strengthen EKU's dual credit program? How can your college or department engage dual credit students earlier? And what additional support or data would make collaboration easier? Yeah, of course, definitely.
A couple of years ago, I remember two weeks ago, that it was a chance to do that. The goal was for like a 50% for dual credit students, so 30%, 6% is a great movement.
Yeah.
for that goal. But you mentioned that they're, oh, sorry, I don't have my phone.
Oh, my bad.
Hello, good morning. So with the, increase in yield, which is great progress, and a desire for, maybe closer to 50% of those students to attend EKU, do you see, is there a specific strategy in development to increase that? You said it isn't just happening, but also it's just sort of happening. So I just wondered if there were specific strategies that were shown to work to increase yield. And like if those of us with already pretty large dual credit enrollment, what things we should be doing to increase yield. Yeah.
So during the college search process, for your general prospective student, thank you. For your prospective student, the number one indicator of them actually enrolling with your college or university is the number of times that they visit your campus or your staff visits them. Okay. The more touch points that we can have with a student, the more likely they are to enroll with us. That's from niche, that's from a national student clearinghouse. That is the largest indicator of enrollment. And so one of the things that we've been working closely with some of our academic department partners on, Dr. Abby Poffenberger, we just had a really great conversation with her and her crew about this. We're actually talking with Dr. Manning about this more just last week. What we want to do with dual credit is not just create an enrollment opportunity, but create an opportunity for our faculty, for our recruiters to interact with our students more frequently. And that comes, as far as specific strategies with that, what I would encourage all of you in this room is connect with my office about getting your faculty, getting your recruiters into my classrooms. Is a requirement of the dual credit MOA that the university signs with each of our dual credit partners to allow our recruiters. But I can tell you from the years of experience that I've had here in dual credit EKU is that our partners desire EKU to be participating in their schools, participating in those dual credit classrooms. So I'll challenge you to have those conversations with my crew. Let's get your faculty into the classrooms for guest lectures. This is one thing that Dr. Michelle Smith over in Mathematics and Statistics, we've talked at great length about having guest lectures in some of our classrooms. And I think that would be a fantastic opportunity. Criminal justice, the School of Justice Studies does this incredibly well. They have brought crime lab people, they have brought police officers and FBI agents into some of our justice studies dual credit classrooms. And those experiences are showing students not just what they can make of their enrollment, but also the kinds of experiences that they're going to get with EKU. And then, like with Dr. Manning, we're talking about bringing our teacher education classrooms here on campus to showcase our learning facilities, showcase model laboratory, showcase our early childhood daycare, all of those different things our students can see and feel and understand that's what they're going to get as an EKU student. they'll begin to see themselves as that EKU kernel after high school graduation. And the stronger that we can make that connection, the more likely they are going to be enroll with us. And so that's really one of the big things. And that's one of the things that I'm going to ask of our academic partners is to let's get you all involved in our classrooms more. And another big thing is with our Office of Admissions and our recruitment teams. Doing a more focused marketing campaign to our dual credit students. Right now, our dual credit students are treated as every other prospective inquiry or prospect student. They're not a prospect or inquiry. They are an EKU student who is college bound. They've already told us what programs they're interested in. They're already telling us what kind of performance they're going to have at EKU. They're already telling us through the different data points that we collect in my office, what else they're interested in doing while they're on campus. And so let's use that data and let's market to those students those opportunities and get them paired with those recruiters and having those conversations earlier and more often. So we're definitely exploring a lot more opportunities for strategies, and we're also open. If there's something that you all think would work, or something that has worked with your populations of prospective students, we're open for trying. I'll try everything at least once. I'm willing to throw the spaghetti at the wall. We'll do it.
Right, I was wondering also like with the pathways, you talk about 36%. Oh, sorry, you're good. You talk about 36%. Do you see a difference with the pathways themselves? Do you see a higher percent of students that are going to come to EKU because they've already got this set of courses toward this program?
Yeah, so we're having IT right now build us a dashboard in Arvis that's going to allow us to analyze that data a little bit more. I could show it to you, but it's still in the works, but it's going to tell us students who complete a milestone within the pathway. With career and technical education, there's completer status and concentrator status. Concentrator is they've completed 2 courses of a pathway, and completer means that they've completed 4 courses of the pathway. And so we're looking at the correlation between concentrator and matriculation, correlation between completer and matriculation. And when they matriculate and at what student type, whether it's a new first-time freshman or transfer. From very early analysis, we're seeing double percent and double from the 36%. And so participation in our pathways, I don't have hard data to back me up on this one, but we think that it will be a very, very strong indicator of dual credit student matriculation.
We have 21 people on Zoom, just so you know, and a very active chat. So we'll start. We'll start at the top. Jenny Whitehouse asks, what is the possibility of getting more students physically on EKU's campus in addition to online and on-site at their high school?
For dual credit?
Or for the day?
For dual credit or for like this?
Jenny, would you like to come off mute and add to that question? There are a few additional questions.
Yeah. I couldn't quite hear what the question was. I heard you say something, Aaron, but I couldn't hear what you asked.
Yeah, do you mean like an increase in our enrollment through the different modalities, or like getting the different students who are participating in those modalities to visit campus or have those interactions with them?
I was thinking of what about dual credit students who show up and take classes on campus? How many of those are physically at the EKU campus versus remote at their high school or online?
Right. That's a really good question. I don't have hard data to back up what I'm about to say, other than my personal experience. We have about 60 to 80 dual credit students per semester participate on campus at one of our 3 campuses. Most of our campus here in Richmond are going to be model students, and then some from Central and Southern, and actually a couple from Berea too. But as far as our online students go, we don't have any dual credit students or any of our population that are fully online. They're taking classes online through their high school in a monitored setting. And so, you know, there is an opportunity to still visit with those students, or they have a physical presence somewhere that we can kind of tap into. Or they are taking an online class in conjunction with an in-person class. Like a lot of our Mercer County Senior High School is a really good example. We have a ton of dual credit classes. They're hosted on site at that high school, but their students are also taking 1, 2, and 3 dual credit classes in addition to what they're taking on site, because the school pays for extra enrollment for them. And so the student, I guess my point is that they still have a physical location, and we can still be able to get them to campus.
Even though we have some, even I'm looking at Jamie, we have some large section classes, Psych 200, I believe, which could be a fully online delivery from the EKU side. But Aaron, what you're saying is that those students are on site within our region on the high school side.
Yeah, and with Psych 200 is a really good example. Same with CMS 100. We have about well, this past fall we had 5 sections, 100% online asynchronous. But those students they're enrolled at their high schools. They are physically present at a high school. They're not disappearing. And so we do have an opportunity to connect with those students, either physically on site at a school, but because with our online async, most of the time it's onesie twosies across our whole program, across the whole Commonwealth. What's going to be more impactful for those courses are virtual connections, virtual connections with those students, invitations to campus events, and connecting with the instructor of that course to kind of make students more aware of what the happenings at EKU. And also Rodney and I, we have a fully executed dual credit communication campaign where we're happy to integrate anything that would make sense into that campaign.
So I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
I'm from the library, and I know that with our English 102, the students physically come to campus for a whole day, and that has been really beneficial and successful for the library. I don't know how successful it is with recruitment, but it seems like that has been a good partnership. And I wondered if we had looked at sort of requiring any of the classes to actually come for a day like they do in the English 102 sort of realm, because it's hard for us in the library to get to the students to help them learn how to use the databases. And that's fine. And we actually have traveled to lots of high schools to do that.
Yeah.
But when they come here, we feel like we can help you recruit by showing them the awesome library. So what other courses require them to come here?
We actually don't have any other courses in our program that require students to come on campus for any other experience. However, I fully believe in the English 102 experience. I've participated in the Null Studio collaboration. I've participated in the library instruction. And so I've even taken things away from it, and I'm a graduate student. I've taken things away from it. I think it's a really cool experience. I know our students and the chaperones that come with their students, they have a great time on campus. In addition to the Null Studio and the library instructional experiences, the students are eating in case. So they're getting that firsthand experience. They're seeing themselves as an EKU student eating on campus. They're getting a tour of campus from current EKU students. They're also potentially seeing Jake Farrington at Frederick Douglass High School. Awesome dude. He does a scavenger hunt in the stacks. And so he teaches his students how to navigate the stacks, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. He taught me how to do it. And so that was really cool. I think we can absolutely work together on more learning-based visits rather than exploration-based visits too. And also, like you were saying, take those learning visits to the students' classrooms. We're totally down with it. I think that'd be really cool.
And building on that directly, and I'm also following the chat, and we'll come back up to some of the questions, the points, and ideas. Dom is joining us on Zoom and asks, Aaron, for those 102 campus visits, is there a way to support some of the high schools financially with cost of transport, which maybe is something that we can discuss if there is interest. That's been one of the barriers we've run into with some of the 102 partners. So it might be something that we look into, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the biggest barrier for our schools. It's getting the students to campus.
Okay.
I'm certainly happy to look into it. I can talk with Dan. He's our chief enrollment officer. I'm happy to talk to him about potentially funding, getting some of these students on campus as classroom visits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll capture all of the ideas from the chat. You'll also be able to put those into the survey if you're interested as well. I want to go back up and make sure that we've covered some of the chat questions and ideas, and we'll start with Abby's. And Abby, I'll summarize, but then feel free to come off of mute as well. This is building on Jenny's earlier question, as she mentions as she's listening to these ideas, it occurs to her that an on-campus college fair for dual credit students would be beneficial. So I'm not sure if we've had something like that in the past, or if there would be interest. Abby, anything to add?
Yeah, we used to have these college fairs, not necessarily for, hello, Erin, not necessarily for the dual credit students, because in the past, I think a lot of the dual credit was taking place in the schools, or the students were coming here with EKU instructors. But I think moving forward, that would be a great opportunity, given all of the things that you've mentioned about the contact hours and exposure to campus. That would probably have a great opportunity for the students to come with their instructors also.
No, I definitely agree. I think it could be really cool to do a very broad college fair where we invite all of our students for our very focused programs, for our very focused courses, some of our pathway courses, even Abby, some of the classes that we've been talking about in 201, 202. Those students have an expressed interest more so than any other student in corresponding programs. Let's bring them to those colleges and do a college showcase. Get those students who have already expressed their interest in those programs to meet with faculty, to see the programs, even do some of the things like our aviation students. Get them here and let's get them with our flight simulators. Let's have them participate and do the things that our EKU students do so they can see themselves. But I think a college fair overall would be a great thing for us to explore and give a shot here in the next couple of semesters. Yeah.
Back whenever I was working in transfer, this notion of a college fair is something that we tried with the transfer student population. Now, we didn't bring them in, but we brought certain highlighted programs that we knew the population wanted, and we sort of had an Eastern experience at their actual community college, and that was really well received. In fact, other institutions in the state had mirrored that idea or paralleled that idea, so I think it's a great idea to consider.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
We do have another question in the chat. Dom Ashby asks if it is possible to build pathways that are arts and humanities focused. It seems like their scholarship structure makes this difficult since they're limited to Gen Ed and CTE. However, you can imagine that courses such as Intro to Creative Writing might be very appealing to dual credit students.
Yeah, no. So the pathways that we have are honestly just surface level. What I mean by that is there are 12 program areas from career and technical education. And between all of the program areas, there's about 50 pathways, 50 pathway opportunities that EKU has. And so with the 13, 14 pathways and tracks that we have, we've just scratched the surface. And actually about all but 3 of them have just come in the last year. Dom, there are pathways existing in there are some in arts and humanities. I'm thinking specifically, this is going to resonate with Jenny for sure, but communication studies has multiple pathways that we can explore. If Ida's here joined us virtually, there are graphic design and BFA aligned pathways that we can explore together too. There are a ton of opportunities for us to look into, tons of different career and technical education aligned pathways, but we don't have to just stop at career and technical education. Pathway is a broad term. We can create sequences of courses that students can take, whether it's CTE aligned or not, for those students who are specifically interested in EKU programs. Think of it as like a curriculum guide for dual credit enrollment. Student goes on our website and they say, okay, I'm interested in creative writing. And we already have a sequence of courses that they can follow themselves. English 102, 101, 102, 210, and beyond 300 levels if they're a senior. That'll take them into an EKU program, explore those classes, earn those credits, and without it even being CTE aligned. And so there absolutely is a possibility, and I'm here for any of those sequence, those very specific opportunities for our students to enroll. If you attend any of the CPE meetings or anything like that, you'll hear the term, it's meaningful dual credit enrollment or random acts of dual credit. I will take credit for both of those because I came up with them, whether Robin wants to acknowledge that. But it's basically the notion that dual credit students are just taking classes willy-nilly. It's correct. There are students in the state of Kentucky that do that. Dual credit was like that. But what we're doing in our program is not that. We're meeting with our students one-on-one for academic advising before registration. We're helping them choose classes that they want to take that will help them in the programs that they want to pursue after high school graduation. And having pathways, having curriculum guides for enrollment will only help us get those students engaged with the right classes that translate into EKU programs.
All right. Continuing in the chat, Robin asks, do you have any data on average GPA and course retention?
For EKU, no, I don't. We do have the CPE data, and the CPE data shows that students who earn above a 3.0 high school GPA and a 3.0 dual credit GPA, they're twice as more likely to matriculate as a first-time freshman from dual credit than their non-dual credit participating peers. That is one of the areas that we're exploring. I mentioned a revenue-based or a CTE matriculation-based Argos report. IT is also mad at me about this because I've asked them to create 3 more dashboards that will help us take a deeper dive into enrollment trends, matriculation trends, what GPA could correlate to matriculation, and also just take a deeper dive into even how classes will translate to it. So great question. I will make sure to get that to you as soon as possible.
And we'll log the questions from the chat as well. And if you want to also add ideas to the survey, we'll follow up there. Leslie Hardman asks, as an OS advisor, she experiences students and families frustrated that having many hours of dual credit does not fast track students for completion of professional degrees. how do you educate them to eliminate this frustration?
Preach. That comes back to that random acts of dual credit. When Rodney and I meet with our dual credit students, one of the first questions that we ask them is, what are you interested in studying after high school graduation? And it's so that we can take a look at the curriculum of that program, whether it's at EKU or Rodney knows by hand UK's core curriculum and the curriculum for their 5 top programs or top 5 programs, whatever. Anyway, we're asking them what they want to study so that we can take a look at what courses are going to be required for that program so that we can give them strong recommendations for them to earn credit. There are certainly programs that it doesn't make sense for the student to earn as much credit as possible. Think of aviation as a really good example. Aviation is highly governed by the FAA. Students can only earn so many credits. They can only earn so much flight time at a given time before they're stuck. And we hear this when we talk about dual credit, about students coming in with so many credit hours that they have to do just random crap. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that our students are not doing that. And that does include having hard conversations with our students and our students' parents, their counselors, their any of our school partners and community members about, okay, it doesn't actually make sense for you to do all this stuff. Go have fun, do all the regular kid things, earn some credits that are actually going to make sense for you, that are going to actually work towards advancing you, but up to a point that only makes sense for you as a dual credit student. And so from that, I would really like for our academic department partners to work with my office to help educate us on the different programs where that kind of stuff really matters. If there are certain points that it doesn't make sense for a student to continue earning credit in, where sequencing of classes, where additional requirements that are not typically coursework, like clinical hours or things like that, are tied to progression and things that they can't earn as a dual credit student. Educate us on that, help us learn, and so that we can educate our students, their parents, their communities, their high schools, so we can make dual credit a more meaningful enrollment opportunity.
Are you working with the counselors in the schools on educating them? Because I know my kids were just signed up for dual credit. Like they were, came home and they were like, oh, I'm taking dual credit from BCTC. And I was like, oh, okay. So the counselors just mass enroll the students. So what is that conversation with the guidance counselors?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And that is something that we try really hard to do. When we first partner with a school, of course, our focus is on what it means to be a dual credit partner with EKU. But at some point we shift our focus to educating them on the opportunities that we have for their students, but also the opportunities that make sense for their students. We work with our partners every single semester to renew this information with them. They are also receiving pretty frequent, I think some of them are tired of hearing from us, pretty frequent communication on what their students are enrolling with at EKU, what their students are doing, what that actually translates to. But the big thing is that as an institution, as a dual credit program, Rodney and I are very focused on keeping a close watch on what our students are doing. You wouldn't believe how much time Rodney spends during ed drop period, just reviewing the classes that our students are enrolled in to make sure that there's no weird outliers. If we see underwater basket weaving, we're going to ask the question of, why are you taking underwater basket weaving? It doesn't make sense for you to do that. Our students who are doing online classes and even classes that are hosted on campus and on site, they have one-on-one academic advising with us before they're able to register. It's a big ask, with the students that we have, but we know how important it is. And so that's one of the other things that we're doing to make sure that our students are doing, are enrolling in things that actually make sense for them. And then from there, again, it's continued update with our school partners, making sure that they're paying attention to what the students are doing, their performance in our classes, and intervening with the students who need that a little bit of assistance and help. Yeah. But I will say, and I'm not trying to speak poorly of my counterparts, but EKU is unique in that. We are very in tune with what our students are doing, and that's not always the case. And so that's kind of another thing that when it comes to why dual credit matters to EKU is, as an institution, the more students that we can enroll in our program, the more students that we can guarantee that they have had the opportunity for meaningful enrollment. We can make sure that they're actually prepared for our coursework.
Great.
Chris?
Could you speak to, could you speak to the potential, or not the potential, but the trade-off of dual credit as it relates to your office? More specifically, we know students arrive academically ahead that have significant amount of dual credit. How does your office still pursue the formative experiences that we know our first-year students need and want in terms of social integration? Is that an area of strength for you all?
Can you explain that a little bit more?
So students arriving ahead academically, so let's say they come in with 24 or I don't know, whatever the average number of dual credit hours are.
Mhm.
I guess, do you find students are behind on some of those social and academic integration pieces? Are they ahead, or does your office work on those in their transition?
Honestly, that's not a data point that we track. Our dual credit students, by virtue, are able to participate in any EKU campus event that we have because they're enrolled as a non-degree seeking undergraduate student. And so they are allowed to participate in campus events. We actually invite them to everything. They're allowed to participate in our Division I athletic events. And so we invite our students, and so the students who do come are getting that socialization growth. But as a program, we're not doing anything else that would prepare the student socially for a campus experience. And I don't have any data to say that they are behind, they're on par, they're ahead. I do know that just from meeting with these students, they're very, very outgoing, typically, but that's just anecdotal. I think that's a really great question, and something that I think we as an institution can explore to further separate our program from the others. How are we both academically preparing them, but also otherwise preparing them for the campus experience?
We have a comment in the chat from Leslie Hardman. She lives in Mercer County, and some of her friends' children have a large number of dual credit hours. So Leslie, would you like to add to that at all? If she might have dropped off. I don't see her on, but good information to know.
We're actually scheduled to go to Mercer County Senior High School next week to talk about enrollment opportunities with them. And we have 2 dates scheduled with them because they have such a large population of students to do one-on-one academic advising with their students. So fantastic group.
Right. Any other questions from the chat? You know, we've had a number of people with 10 o'clock appointments. So,
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any other questions from in person? All right. Do you want to show? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I believe that dual credit students, they don't qualify for BookSmart because they're non-degree seeking. But if dual credit students were eligible for the BookSmart program, do you think that would make a difference?
I think that would help our marketability. I think we would be able to get more students enrolled in dual credit. I don't know what that would mean for matriculation of dual credit students to first-time freshman status. Because the students receive a scholarship from KIA, the cost for dual credit is already pretty low, even low enough for some of our students that come from a lower socioeconomic status to afford. And there's a lot of things that we do, the dual credit office, working with some of our academic departments to make it even more affordable. I know that for example, are hosting live proctored sessions instead of students not doing the paid proctored sessions for their exams. That's a really great example of some of the ways that we're working together to make it even more affordable for our students. Dr. Manning is helping us craft a better way to address the task stream fee. For Booksmart though, at this time, our matriculation rate is just too low for it to be a wise investment for the university. However, I think it would be a great carrot. I think it would be something really cool to get our students more involved, get them to take more classes, get more students into the program, but I don't know. We're not hurting for students without having Booksmart. I think the biggest thing about it though is that it would increase access to students that we're not already able to offer because they can't afford the additional enrollment or they can't afford the fees. So it's more of an access thing.
I saw that we have a question in the chat as well, one from Robin. Let's see. Robin, do you want to come off of mute and talk through your question?
Sure, I can. I'm sorry. I just had one more question. So I'm on SBDM council at a local high school. There's a lot of discussion among some high schools, I think, about the concern of rigor in a dual credit class versus AP. And the 7-week online structure and how that doesn't quite align with the way a typical high school's structure is. So you have kids that are doing 7-week online and then they have nothing to do if they're not picking up another class. But I was just wondering, and we don't have to talk about it right now, we can do it later if time's running out, but how have some other schools addressed that? And I know the dual credit AP, kind of dilemma, how do you all kind of address that with some folks as well?
Great question. As far as the 7-week thing goes, very, very, very few of our students, less than 5% of our online participating dual credit students enroll in 7-week classes. Rodney and I do not encourage our students to do that. It's too fast paced in our opinions. We're both Rodney and I are students. He's in the MBA program and I'm in IO Psych. That's a very fast pace for students. And so we don't recommend them to do that at a base. High performing students that have no other option or whatever, sure, we'll recommend it, but we always ask them to pick up a second class. And so it can align better with our schools. But for the most part, we work with our academic departments to offer dedicated sections of online classes to dual credit enrollment. And those are always offered as a 16-week or whatever full term is now. Really good example, our business pathways. They're offered as a full-term class, even though business runs 7-week versions of it for their online students. Really, another good example is Dr. Noblet just had a conversation. Dr. Noblet and my team had a conversation about offering LAS 210, which is only offered as a 7-week online class. And we're running 2 sections in the spring semester for full term for dual credit enrollment. And so we're addressing that concern as far as 7-week classes go. With our schools that host classes on site and with our dedicated dual credit sections, with the approval of our academic departments, especially with the classes that are hosted on site, we actually have a special schedule type from the registrar's office that allows us to have flexible start dates and end dates for the semester to better align with the high school schedule. Because we know that most high schools will start before us and most high schools will end after us. And so that helps us better align with their schedules. And our academic departments have been absolutely wonderful in understanding that and helping us meet that need of our partners. As far as rigor goes, that typically comes into question with our courses that are offered on site at a partner high school, who taught by a teacher who has the credentials to teach per accreditation standards. It becomes a question there because the faculty at those high schools are not as connected to campus as our traditional faculty are. I will challenge, though, that the dual credit office has nothing to do with curriculum. And we do not step on curriculum. I'll challenge that our academic department partners, who are the experts on the curriculum, that they are in tune with our faculty, our dual credit faculty, and ensuring that our student learning outcomes for the course are met. What that means, I don't know. It depends on what your department would like to do. I know that English, for a really good example, they include all of our dual credit faculty in the first year writing seminar. And Dom does a lot of professional development with our dual credit faculty. I know that they're included in their regular faculty communications and invited to faculty meetings within the department. And so those are the ways that we can address the rigor issues. And the dual credit office, in any way that we can, will be supportive of that. If that means us helping get in contact with those professors or those instructors, ensuring that they're submitting things, we're happy to help in any way that we can. So I hope that answers the question.
We have a question in the chat as well from Jenny about whether we have a number on matriculation. So the students who matriculate to EKU, I believe.
For 23-24, it was 36% of our population matriculated to dual credit or matriculated to first-time freshman status after participating in dual credit. 36% of the 24 fall freshman class had participated in EKU dual credit and matriculated.
Let me go on and hop on here real quick. How does that I think that's a great number. How does that compare with other institutions? Is this a good number?
Yeah, we're 2 percentage points higher than the other four-year public institutions. The second highest public institution, KCTCS, is looking below 30%. As far as the 4 years go, Moorhead is our second largest competitor, and they were looking at about 34%. And then Western, Northern, Thomas More, Murray were all in the 30 to 34% range.
So UK was the only one who had more?
I don't remember exactly where UK was, but UK was within that 30 to 34%. The thing about UK is that they haven't cared about their dual credit program. They don't. They are just very recently getting in tune with what dual credit can be as a recruitment tool, and just kind of very recently, within the last semester or two, actually producing a dual credit program and watching the outcomes for it. And so I think they're likely to be our strongest competitor here in the next couple of semesters.
I just thought you said we're the second best matriculator. I was just trying to figure out who was the top. We are the first.
Yes, we are the best.
Well, yes, of course.
Always the best. That's for the fall 24 semester, fall 24 freshman class. We're still looking at for our fall 25 class, but it's looking very promising. Earlier, I think Sherry asked about matriculation of our students who are participating in those pathways. We are working with IT to have more data on that, have valid and good data on that. But from early analysis, it's looking like that will be about double. We will matriculate more than double students who participate in the pathways versus just open regular dual credit enrollment.
And Jenny, that's a number that Aaron and I continue to look at. We're asking some questions as to whether we might want to set some future goals in that area. And then also potentially, if we move forward with some of the ideas that came through here, maybe some site visits, more intentionality surrounding building affinity with EKU, bringing students to campus, and initiatives like that. How does that impact that 36%? And so that's something that we continue to discuss. It's a great question. We have 1 minute. I want to make sure that Aaron introduces the survey that he has as well, which I believe is the last slide.
Yes, you can scan the QR code on the screen. Chris has also set up a post-session communication that will link you to the session survey. It both asks questions about the session itself, but also provides you with another opportunity to engage with our discussion. And so I would highly encourage you to complete that survey. Please also feel free to reach out to me at any time. That's my email. I'll be happy to forward you a way to schedule time with me. You can also call me at any given time, whatever works for you. But I definitely really appreciate everybody attending and all the really great discussion that we've had. And our next TLI session will be more discussion based, more on collaboration. This one was more for establishing the base for that. And so I encourage you to stay tuned for more information about that next TLI session and come thinking about dual credit and how we can work together as a campus to promote it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we captured the chat as well. So Aaron and I have the information. Thanks to Chris for getting that for us, and we'll use that as another way to follow up. So with that, we are at time. Thanks, Aaron, and thanks to everybody who joined us on Zoom. We had a great crowd there. Good questions, ideas, and we're looking forward to hopefully seeing everybody at the second session, which will be another opportunity to engage with these ideas. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.